Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today it's the man child. All right, so today up for review, we finally having some new Masters Universe Origins Snake Men. Oh yeah, yeah. So these were announced a while back. I remember saying some of my videos like, yeah, it would be cool to have the Snake Man, and maybe if the Origins line continues, we'll get some. And here they are. I can't believe they're out already. These were announced like sometime in January next year, and they're popping up on like eBay. Big Bad Toy Store got some in stock, and I think Entertainment Earth. I got mine over a week ago, but they got caught up in transit, so other people already have them. Doing some reviews. Congrats on you for you guys for getting them, and yeah, it's awesome to have this stuff. Now, this is obviously part of Wave 11. They're calling it. Originally, it was going to be like Series 1 Snake Man, but it's Wave 11. And there was four figures. I picked up, obviously, we have Cobra Khan, Rattlor, and Snake Armored He-Man. There's also a Bolt Man. I'll show you when I flip to the back of the package. To be honest, I really wasn't interested in them. And I support the Sunman series and lines, but I'm the type of person. Yeah, I love all things Motu, but if I don't like a particular character, I'm not sure on them, I won't pick it up. Even though I'm a semi-completionist, if you want to call it that. These are the guys I want, and I want to try to stick to the vintage inspired or 2000X Motu figures, and that's what I'm doing. So yeah, looking pretty awesome. I'm gonna review all three of them. Normally I get four figures, I do them all. I think it's fun that way. And I'll do some part swaps, especially the He-Man, and yeah, looking pretty neat. I also want to do a special shout out to AJ on For Attorney Official. That's his YouTube channel. He also has an Instagram page and I think a website, forattorney.com. Me and him did a podcast. Some people were asking me, like, would I ever do a live stream podcast? And he invited me, and we did. Yeah, I did one. Had a good time. It was pretty cool. It was very long. Kind of really got into my life story and collecting and challenges I go through. Yeah, if you're interested, go on the site and check it out. At For Attorney Official. That's the YouTube page. Okay, so first up, we got Cobra Khan. If any of the Snake Men that I was hoping to come out in the line, it was Cobra Khan. When I kind of had that idea in my head when the origins first come around, right? If we ever got Snake Men. Yeah, here he is. Now it's so he has a redesign of the packaging a little bit, at least the stickers. You got a new Snake Man logo sticker here. Be cool if it was easier to take off and save it, but it's you're gonna peel it, you're gonna destroy it. Bring it in now too. You can see they changed the car with the Snake Man logo up there, and of course we got Cobra Khan, typical exploding rocks, and it's nostalgic of the vintage line we grew up with. And flipping around to the back of the card, so we got the all Series 11 figures out, and there's that Bolt Man there, part of Sun Man. Again, I wasn't, mixed on him. Not really interested. Maybe if I see him retail down the road, I'll take a better look, pick him up. Apparently, now, problem with a lot of these figures, well, not a problem, it just changes that they don't have the typical action features. For a lot of us that grew up with this brand, it's very nostalgic, especially me with the Cobra Khan. If you weren't familiar, you are, right? The cavity was hollow. You popped the head off. Had a spray mechanism like it's typical in the old school spray bottles, and it would squirt water, which was really cool. But Mattel didn't go that route. They give you a little action effect, so to speak, like you spitting acid. Here's the art, looking really cool. Got Cobra Khan going against. First I thought it was Snake Arm and He-Man. Then I took a little better look. It's actually Thunder Punch He-Man. Now he's announced, and he's supposed to be coming out alongside of King Hiss in a deluxe card packaging the end of this month into December. That's what some sites say. Could even go into January, but you'll probably see it at the end of this month. Got Extendor in the background. Is awesome. I always liked him as a kid. He's one of the last figures in the vintage line to come out as the line was wrapping up. I did see some teases and rumors of him that he might be possibly in Wave 12 coming with Tongue Lasher, he's been confirmed. And here's a quick 3D look around with Cobra Khan out of the package and the two accessories it comes with. And bringing Cobra Khan in for a closer look. Of course, let's check out our head sculpt first. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like the redesign. It's so now we have articulation, and the neck even looks better instead of a little tube when you had to use the squirt function, push the head up and down. I do miss the water thing, but okay, not the worst thing in the world. But you can check out the way the eyes are done. Very snake-like, has extra paint in there. Got some white, I guess that's supposed to be his teeth and fangs, and it sort of comes up to here in mine. You can always touch it up a little paint. You want it to be more creative. Mouth is totally open, obviously. Has that big hole in there for our plug-in effect, which I'll show you soon. There's the other side in the back and articulation. So yeah, now we can go left to right. We can go look down that far and go up. And what's cool, now we have ball pegs, of course, where you can switch out different heads and put this on other Snake Men once we get them. So putting the head back on and moving down to the rest of the body in buck, very reminiscent of the vintage, Cobra Khan I can remember. Color's a little different. Of course, we're noticing that with the Origins. And what I like is that it's darker. It's probably actually very close to the Vintage from what I remember. Where a lot of the Origins are very overly bright. It works for some characters that don't. But personally, I like the way they stuck with this with Cobra Khan. Has this, yeah, I guess more scales. As you know, the brown harness, scale harness. Now, that's all part of the sculpt. Doesn't come off, where some armors obviously come off in mine. Yeah, I got some chipping in there. See a little bit of QC issues. Points there, okay. But totally different tooling as far as the body and the loincloth and head. As our front and our back. And of course, with the articulation left to right. As I said, it has a unique belt and loincloth different. More scaly. It's not the fuzzy one. Going up to the arm articulation. Everything the same with the Origins. Forward, back, and go out and down. So you can bend at the elbow, and then of course has the wrist can spin, and it's a little on the hinge joint going in and out. Cobra Khan comes with, so we have one closed hand on his right side and an open hand like on the left with the hinge joint for like a shield or something, or a claw attack. I'm going to call it that. Wish you come with two closed hands, so you can use two closed weapons. It varies origin to origin figures, but that's what you get. And the other arms are all the same, and I'm going to pop it out, see how easy come. Okay, for customs or something, and the peg is kind of recessed on an angle in there. And then moving back down to the waist, so we know he turns in the legs, right? And go all the way out like this. And go forward about that far. Go back somewhat. Bend all the way at the knee. Boots can spin. Of course, the foot can go up and down. And it has on a little bit of a rocker. And these boots can come off, so you can always change the Cobra Khan boots out with He-Man or fuzzy boots if you didn't want the snake feet. You know, mix them up. That's what's cool with the Origins, how just the customization you can do with this stuff now. Another thing, too, is this figure feels really solid, well done, very tough. I like that with these Origins. It doesn't feel like a cheap, plastic hollow toy. Being that the cavity or the buck is solid now. So I like that with these Origins coming out. So moving on accessories, this is the blast effect that replaced the water squirt in action. And then going back to the hole in the mouth and the blast effect, it's obviously true. It's not glow in the dark. It's a translucent green, which is pretty cool. Just going to plug in like this. It don't matter how you plug it in. Spin it. Real easy. Check that out. And for fun, here's a quick look at Cobra Khan with his acid spitting effect against my 2000X style Origins He-Man. I modified him a little bit. Kind of reminds me of Reptile from Mortal Kombat. For you Mortal Kombat players, which was a really cool character. Probably one of my favorites. And now with just the acid effect and his look, it kind of reminds me of. And for his last accessory, we got his infamous blaster. Looks exactly like the Vintage, but in Origin style, and it's just painted that, bright, kind of a flat, bright orange. And here's a quick look now with Cobra Khan's two accessories. I put the blaster in the only hand he can hold it because of the position it's in. Of course, we have his acid spitting effect. Check that out. Yeah, really cool figure. I love the way it came out. Just with the gun and the acid effect. Definitely cool. And for our last accessory, if you want to call it that, we have the comic book. So I'll show this real quick. I'll flip through it. You can pause and read it. All 3 or 4 figures, which I only have 3, of course, come with this comic book like all the Origins do. Yeah, in the front, we got Boltman here. And it's cool. We have Cobra Khan with he's got his fins up here. All right, that'd be neat. And Rattlor. Now, I know Mattel Creations does also have Camo Khan coming out. I don't know when. They'll probably announce it. The Attorney just went off. I finally funded mine a couple days, not that long ago. For everybody that did, congrats. It didn't hit the 10,000 backers. We would have got that Keklar figure, but oh well. You know what? They already showed him. I have a feeling he'll be coming out of line. But congrats if you picked that up. Awesome set. And I have a feeling that Camo Khan will be next announced, and he comes with the fins and different parts that you can mix with Cobra Khan. And opening up the comic book and check out all the cool images and stuff. Actually, mine has... Wow, there's no wording in mine. You know what that means? My stuff is an international release, I'm thinking. I didn't even get the U.S. release. Maybe that's how some of this stuff is coming in the U.S. so early. Guys, let me know in the comments with your comic book if you have wording or not. Look at that. God. Well, I can't read anyway, but... Just kidding. No, but anyway, you can pause and check out all the images of the 4 figures they seem to mix in these comic books to promote the toy line. All right, we got that. Yeah, we got Cobra Khan with a spitting attack. Got Boltman. We got even Man-at-Arms mixed in there. Stratos in the background. Right, little battle going on here. And okay, Rattlor. What else there? Snake Armor He-Man, Battle Cat again. That's about it. All right, next up, moving on, we got Rattlor. Another one of my favorite Snake Man as a kid. Just unique. He always had that long up upper torso and buck in this case, and I'm wondering, yeah, I was hoping the legs would be a little longer. You always look extra stubby to me, like with the classics, just modernized the legs and made it look better. But it's Origins, it's fun. Now we can straighten them out. Maybe once we get them out, look, a little different. And of course, flipping around the back of the car, we have our cross already mentioned now, Rattler 2, showing his action features. Now it seems like he does shake and has a rattle effect, which I wasn't sure if he did, but does not have I want to say the spring mechanism where the neck would pop up like the vintage or the 2000X figure did. So now it's a ball joint with extended neck, and you can pop the head off or put the head on. Again, the nostalgia would have been to have that springy pop effect, but I don't need it. I kind of like, as I get older, and the classics are like this too. They got rid of the action features. You can do more with it now as far as customization and switching out heads and parts. And bringing the art down a little bit. That art looks awesome. I love the way Rattler looks. Yeah, even his legs look longer and a little better. His the neck's extended. He's fighting Snake Armored He-Man here. And as far as little other Easter eggs, I want to call them, we got Snake Mountain in the background. Now, Origins did announce a Snake Mountain for September 2024. They're saying it's going to come out. They did show a rough image of it. And, yeah, we'll get better. Some people didn't like the paint and the stat. They'll fix that. But check all that out. Here's a quick look around Rattler and all accessories or how they come out in the package. So bringing in Rattler for a closer look. Okay, before we get in the head and work my way down, I like the way I do. Let's focus on the tail here for a second. Put this on. So yeah, it's just a real soft piece of rubber. You kind of see how it's cool sculpting. It's got a big square peg in the back. Got the little rattle effect on the end, but yeah, it's hollow. I was kind of hoping they would make it like a solid piece like they did with Whiplash. But it is Origins, to be fair. That's how the vintage one was, I believe. You can see the peg on the back, right? So I'm going to clip this in like so. See how that, okay, it snaps right in, and there's our tail. So moving back on up to the head, yeah, his mouth looks awesome. Two fangs up there, the way it's painted. The lower piece jaw almost looks like it can articulate, but it doesn't. It's the way it's cut in. It's all part of the sculpt. Love the way the eyes are done, all the scales on the top. And now, of course, we don't have that mechanism where the neck pops forward. So we have the ball peg. Let's pop it out, right? And putting the head back on as far as the articulation. So now we can go left to right. We can look down about that far and up. Yeah, it'd be cool if you can look down a little further because it seems like the eyes are looking up in space. But, once you position and fall with the legs and short, it looks okay. And moving down to the buck and chest, yeah, just really all that unique, that big pattern that Rattler's known with the yellow on there. All red. We already looked at the tail in the back. Here's a closer look at all the scales and detail. And I like how this, when you snap that tail on, blends into everything really cool. Yeah, this figure's like all new tooling, I believe. Everything from the feet, the hands, the head, everything. It's a lot of money they invested in there for Rattlor. So you might see some variants of them come out down the road. Got the long upper buck, like I was saying. We got the Snake Man belt, same thing, own unique belt, and loincloth. Now, I don't think this comes off, but let's pop. Okay, pops in half like that. Maybe it does. Let's see. It's it looks like you could take it off, but you see there's a peg in there. It's almost like it's not meant to, and it's formed around here, but it seems like it can, but then you have this odd cutout, so it's not meant to come off. Let's pop it back on for the moment, right? And here's our articulation with it. Spin left to right. And then moving on to his arms, yeah, it's like a typical Origins arms, but again, different tooling because of the scales here. You can feel it, the way it's sculpted outwards, cool paint. And with the arm, we go back, forward, go all the way out like so and down. Let's see the elbows too. Yeah, it's going to go in about that far and out. And then we have the hand like all the other Origins and go in and out on the hinge joint. Same thing. He's got a closed hand, semi-closed hand on the right side, open hand on the left. And the other arms are all the same. Side the open hand, right? The articulation. And let's see you hear that? Let me bring it in the mic. So he does have his Rattler rattle feature. All right, like his tail's doing this. Okay, so we have something instead of the neck popping. And moving on to the legs. So, yeah, see, they're kind of, all right, they're a little stubby. You can straighten them out. It does look a little better. But they go all the way out. All right, forward, back about that far. You can bend all the way up at the knee. Kind of like a boot. You can spin them at the boot, and if you wanted to, you didn't want this raw piece of leg with this foot, you can change him out, put some fuzzy boots on him, because these can come off, you can see. And then he's got, some new, looks like some new feet there. The Snake Man, you go up, down, left to right, kind of on a little bit of a rocker, it seems like. And with the legs, So let's see if we straighten the legs all the way out, make them stand. See that there. It doesn't look bad. A little better, I guess, than it still has that longer upper body, but it's fun. It is Rattlor, and it's I do like that you can straighten the legs out now. So moving back up to the head again, let's do the other so-called action feature. Not really action feature, but effect. Let's pop the head off. I'm going to bring the neck piece in. So this is the neck piece you have now. The neck piece is going to go like this and, okay, snap in. It wasn't too bad, and that's what you have without the head, and I guess it go, okay, so this was the front. You can see the way it's sculpted, and the scales are the back to match the scales here, so it's going to look like that. And then the headpiece will pop back onto the neck peg like that. And taking a closer look with that setup, right, so this is what it looks like from the side and the back. And yeah, we have articulation here. It can spin. It can even go forward a little bit and back, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, now our head, we can spin back and forth and also can rotate a little bit, not much at all with the ball peg. It's the lower part of the neck hits the lower part of the head or jaw hits this neck. But it all works together when you conform everything this way and the neck forward. It really, yeah, it looks like a pretty cool striking feature. And when you manipulate the legs and body, it works well. And here's a quick comparison again, Rattlor against Cobra Khan. Kind of showing it's the striking feature. Yeah, they're not getting along to fight in the Snake Man faction. Who's going to be in charge? But I'm showing you this because I'm having a hard time. Obviously, once you try to posture him forward and move the tail out, he's obviously going to fall with the neck. So it's kind of meant to rest up against a figure like that if you're striking or attacking him. And let's see, if you set him up, let's see if I straighten out the legs, what he looks like with the tail. If I can balance, having a hard time balancing him is what I'm getting at. And for his accessory, it comes with the typical Snakeman staff. You know, this one's in orange to match his body, so I'm assuming other Snakemen like Tongue Lash and those guys, Snakeface maybe comes out will have these because the Leventus did, but pretty cool detail. And this is Rattlor with everything set up. I have the snake staff, and the only hand you can really hold in the right. You can probably put it through here and hold it through the snake and that little pole if you want, but we'll leave it in the gripping hand. And if you notice, I put a McFarlane figure, a spawn stand to hold him up because he kept falling over with that neck piece extended. It works good, and it fits the pegs perfectly. A lot of figures come with these, but if you have any McFarlane or similar stands, it actually works really good, and I use a lot of these for my origins, but check that out. It looks like all the way around. And here's a quick look with the staff in hand. I took the neck extension piece off, obviously, put the head back on, and he stands very well with the tail spread out. So I just kind of want to give everybody a quick look, a view like that. Now, I want to have a little extra fun with Rattlor with some parts I'm going to bring in real quick, and we can check those out. So I thought it'd be cool to bring in a couple different armor that was designed specifically for Rattlor. Now, going back to the 2000X show, I believe, Rattlor, he was General Rattlor, actually had this armored. And the Classics, which I haven't card up on the shelf, Rattlor, he was in package to look like this Origins Rattlor, did not have armored, but the armor came in the wet rolled it wore like the accessories pack down a robe. So this one here is the Classics armored, and this armor actually came off a 2000X Rattlor figure that I had and I got rid of, or something. I don't remember, something broke on him, whatever it was, but I actually kept the armored. So let's try these two different armors out on the Origins Rattlor and see how they fit, if they work, and what they look like. All right, and here's a quick look at the 2000X toy Rattlor's toy armored on our Origins Rattlor. Fits very well. Check that out. Looks great. Yeah, I'm keeping that on one or the other. But pretty much all I did was I just flipped this over the neck. I didn't have to take the head off. I did move the tail out of the way because you can see it was just a one strap you'd pull through. Or you could put it around the tail. Probably even fit better because that's what's kind of sloppy. But then you're really stretching this out, and I was afraid to do that. And I think it looks better under the belt. I don't remember how to, I think it went around this with the 2000X figure. Let's try that and see what that does. All right, I just flipped the loop around over the tail. Yeah, it is looks a little neater, but I don't like that. It seems to restrict the tail. Yeah, I think it was better under it. So either way, it's what it looks like on this Rattlor. So moving on to the Classics armored. This you're going to have to pop the head off because it is smaller. So let's see. So that piece, okay, will fit over the shoulders like that. And you can already see in the back I'm having an issue with the Classics. So see, these little rubber pegs would go up under here and snap through those holes. I can probably get one on like that if I wanted to, but then I can't get the other one in without stretching or heating it up or modifying it. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to fit too well, and I don't want to damage this. So I'm definitely going to go with, but that's what it looked like on the front. You just want it to float there. Check that out. And it's shoulder armored. There's a little more detail, but actually not. I think the 2000X one, size just as big, or is just as good, if not better. All right, so I put the 2000X armor back on. I put the neck extension piece in, of course, my McFarlane stand, and we can check that out. So if you guys want to set them up like that, you get this figured out, it's a good option. These armors sometimes you can find on eBay, or if you do have the figure laying around, just get one of these stands. A lot of different figures of Marvel. They come with these now, and it's all the same pegs, but yeah, looking cool. That's the way I'm going to leave Rattler set up. And finally, we have our snake armored He-Man. Yeah, another He-Man variant. I don't mind him, I guess. Looks pretty cool. He was a really popular character in the 2000X cartoon later on. More in the toy form, which I actually have a 2000X figure, and I will bring it in to compare, just to show you the inspiration where he came from originally, that, as far as my knowledge. And flipping around in the back of the package, we got our typical cross-sell art we already seen. Just his action features of what he comes with. He comes with that 2000X power sword, but in the Origins style and size. And it looks like he also comes with the, I think in a show or the toy they called it like the Serpent's Claw, and it would snap into the forearm guard. And of course, taking a quick look at that awesome art, we got Snake Armored He-Man here fighting against Squeeze and Snakeface. These two are already announced coming into Snake Men line, from what Mattel said, more or less. So I'm sure we'll see him sometime next year. And yeah, I can't wait to see, especially Squeeze. I remember having him as a kid. That'd be really cool. Here's a quick look around with the Snake Armored He-Man out of package and 2 accessories it comes with. So bringing Snake Armored He-Man in for a closer look, I gotta be honest, I'm really glad I got this figure. Just something with all the armor, even though he's just another He-Man variant, really stands out. Pretty cool. But as far as the head, now it's the same 2000X style He-Man head that we already got in Wave 9, I think. I'll bring that one in a second, just to compare the heads. But the hair looks darker. Yeah, the articulation, right, forward, down, left to right. So you could take a closer look at the details. It's, yeah, really good sculpting. Kind of wish they would put some white in the eyes a little bit, you know, like they're doing with the newer He-Man figures coming out from that Mattel 4-pack, but it is what it is. These are all details. So I want to do a little comparison real quick with the 2000X He-Man I was talking about, and I'm going to modify a little bit. The heads look very similar to me as far as the sculpt. And here, obviously, the hair color is different. This is darker, which I like that. But it's, yeah, the facial expression on the eyebrows or something, it might just be painted darker the way it came from the factory. But in the way that the mouth is, you know, the teeth are shown. But they look very much the same, aside maybe some QC differences. So moving down to the chest armor, that armor is awesome. Pretty cool. Like the cross star, it's, you know, he has in the 2000X show. It's not exactly a cross, but what I think this came from King Grayskull. He originally had that insignia. Yeah, it's painted gold, and the armor's like a flat metallic silver. It's the front and the back. Now you got a little place for the sword, which is pretty cool. What's unique with the armor is it's actually not. See that? It's not part of the sculpt, but I don't see nowhere to break it and pull it off. So let's do this real quick. Let's pop the waist apart. Maybe we can slide it down over the waist. Try that. Yeah, look at that. Okay, and I think we got to remove this arm. We'll get into this arm in a second with the shoulder guard. So it's okay, so the arm pops it like that, and here's that shoulder piece. So we'll take a look at this. Pretty cool. Got the snake sculpting in there, the snake armored. You know, it's a little texturing going on there. And this armor piece, it looks like if you wanted to take it off, you could, but it kind of clips in. You can see that, and mine's glued. I can see it, so I don't want to take it and rip it off. But if you want to modify, it could be removed. And then I'm gonna see if this. Okay, so check that out. And there's our buck without, you know, putting everything on. So it's a typical He-Man buck. And there's our armor. Take a closer look at that, right? Real soft. There we said here's a sword. We'll go over that in a little bit, but right, you put your sword or any type of weapon in the back of that armored. Yeah, that's pretty neat they did that. I thought it was all part of the sculpt. And so, you know, you can use this to put on other figures if you wanted to. And while I have them apart, I'm also going to go over this lower belt guard, and then I'll put them all back together. But yeah, it's its own piece. It's pretty neat. You can see all the detail on that. A little snake symbol going in there. Different colors, real soft. And snapping them back together, I just wanted to show you what the loincloth, it even has a different belt as well underneath, if you didn't want to use this guard piece, what it looks like without it. Okay, so we jumped around a little bit, but as far as, so we know how the armor goes off, and obviously I put everything back on. I like the look. Yeah, I like just leaving everything on the way it is. We know the shoulder piece is its own flexible piece itself attached to the armor. It can come off if you want to modify it, but I'm going to leave it alone. Taking a close look at the right arm, it's unique own. It's just a sculpt, typical multi-origins arm. Well, actually, it's a different sculpt, it looks like itself. But with the articulation with the shoulder piece, we go forward, back, kind of go out and down like that, right? Bend at the elbow. Now we got this little, this is that forearm piece that claw's going to go into, and that does come off too. I'll take that off in a second. And that can spin and move around. And of course, he has his, same close style fast on the hinge joint. And we're going to pop the hand off the right side like this. I'm going to take this piece of armor off, take a closer look at that real quick. So there's your little forearm weapon for that claw. Check that out, pretty soft. And I snap the hand back on real quick without that piece if you don't want to use it. You just want to look at the rest of the forearm. Leave it by itself. And moving back to the left side, obviously it's just a bare arm with a silver bracer. It's all sculpted on. Articulation is all the same. And I also put that forearm guard, that weapon piece on the left arm. It's bare, so if you want to do that, you can do that too. See what it looks like. All right, so moving on, I put that piece back on the right arm with all the armor. I think that's cooler. And we know what the belt, this extra belt piece does. All right, I'm going to leave it, we took it off, it's back on. And of course, you can spin at the waist with that. Now with the legs too, same thing on the right side, match that, all the armored up at the right arm. So it's all, let's see. So this piece is flexible enough, it allows the leg to go all the way out like that. You can see all the detail in it. Check all that out. You can bend at the knee. You can also spin. This piece too can come off, it looks like, if you wanted to. Check out all the details there in the front and the back. And then the foot, its own, same with two of the old, green like little boots or something attached, and they're on same thing, a little hinge joint, go up and down and spin like a little rocker joint. With the leg articulation too, go all the way out with that, right? I already showed you bent, but we can go forward, back with this. And then of course the other side, it's more of a bare leg, but has a steel boot on to match this side, which they can come off here and you could put like different boots, but it might look funny, if you wanted to put like furry boots in place of this, because you still have this armored attached to the knee, and I don't know if that comes out. I know this looks like, that can separate, but this piece up here doesn't without modification. But anyway, and the articulation all the same, so you want to see what it looks like going all the way back like that, and then the foot and everything can move up and down, rock. And here's taking a look at Snake Armored He-Man's accessories, right? We got that serpent's claw or snake claw, whatever you call it. Check that out. It doesn't articulate. It's pretty cool the way the color's done. You need if they had a longer extension with the Origins, to retract, because that's kind of what it did in the cartoon and the comics. And even in the classics in 2000X toy, I don't think it really did that. It was just kind of short, but so to give you that. And that's going to attach in a forearm guard like that and just snap on. Check that. It looks pretty cool though, I got to say. Here's a quick look at Snake Armored Serpent Claw and Cobra Khan's neck. And going head to head with Rattlor. And of course, it comes with that 2000X style power sword, but in like an Origins size and look. Not bad sculpting. Really no other paint size. It's in a metallic silver. And it's a little small. Now I'm going to also compare it to the original 2000X toy power sword. And this was also using the classics. There was a few different color variants, but if you're curious what they look like together in the size. And you can always take one of these two if you have any of those figures or find one on eBay and arm your Snake Armored Origins He-Man with it, because this does look a lot cooler. And going back to the back of that armor, that sword holder, right? So that's how the sword would fit on. Take a look at that. And if you're curious, the normal 2000X sword, you kind of can push it through. I don't know, it's going to go about that far. Maybe you can heat this and modify it, but it's not going to work too well. Maybe you can put it through like this if you had one, or put a piece of wire and hang it or something like that. But so kind of want to show that. And real quick, I wanted to get that comparison out of the way so you can see where this, the inspiration originally come from. As far as I know, again, this was the 2000X He-Man that line. Pretty cool figure. And like I said, a little pricey and kind of hard to find on eBay sometimes. Out of all my figures, I'm keeping him. So I'm getting rid of a lot of the 2000X. I didn't like the aesthetics on him, for the most part. But he looks really cool and rare. So you kind of see where the inspiration come from and the different details on his figure. See the claw. I think it was an action effect. I don't remember the button or shot off, but it's not working on this now. And there's this power sword. And yeah, this was the shield they came with. I just kind of wired it to the back. And he also come in another unique sword. Let me bring that in real quick. And this was the original power sword that he came with. And I armed him with a typical 2000X style sword, but look at that thing. It's supposed to have an action feature, mimic like in a show how the blades would open up. It would shoot this energy effect. But, they had to make, it kind of look goofy, it's too big. And I put that big power sword in Snake Armored He-Man's left hand. Check that out if you want to use one, see what it looks like. And I put the regular 2000X power sword into Snake Armored He-Man's hand there. Check that out. That looks really cool. Yeah, I'm liking that sword on him. And of course, there's a quick look at the sword he comes with in hand. Yeah, it works. Looks like a giant dagger compared to a sword, but that's what he comes with. So real quick, well, let's mix and match some parts. I mean, that could be a whole other video, but I'm going to do a few things here. So let's start with some of the heads. Okay, so I threw on our Origins vintage-inspired He-Man head on his body with the armor, so check that out. Always a favorite. And now I threw on that early release He-Man head that first came out when the Origins originated. Actually, I think this came with the Sky Sled and Prince Adam 2-pack. And I threw on that Origins vintage-inspired Battle Ready head, I want to say. Right? Check that one. Looks really awesome. Check that out. And articulation's all the same. Down, up, left, right. And to go outside the box a little bit, I even threw on that Revelation or the New Eternity Viking He-Man head on his body. That head looks awesome. That head goes on great on anything. You know, even though the armor's a little darker, the helmet, it still works really well with this armor if you wanted to. Great articulation, fits the pegs perfect. The sculpt is serious, gives the body, you know, just a little more serious look. But you want to check that out? Awesome. And I even threw on that 40th anniversary He-Man head. That looks pretty cool on there. Really well done. Very vintage inspired, but more serious than the Origins one, of course. Yeah, the paint's not too bad. It works, but articulation works great. Goes on the peg very well. And for one more, this was also the New Eternity of Viking He-Man, or the unhelmeted head. That looks really good on there. Skin tone matches, pretty neat. Works well on the net. Mine has to go down a little bit, stuck, but I want to check that out. You could do a whole video on head swaps. Just throw a few on, give everybody an idea, but... So a couple of custom ideas with these two Origins, which is cool because now we can do all this, which you couldn't do with the Vintage or 2000X. So yeah, we have a Snake Armored He-Man, our first, the 2000X He-Man, Wave 9, I think. Now you can see I modified him a little bit. I actually used a 2000X style belt from the 2000X figure that the waist broke in half. That's how I was able to get it off, and then I had to cut it and stretch it around the waist there. But let's pop it. So I'm going to pop this guy off like this, right? Get these legs out of the way. Pop this guy, the legs off that one, and snap this together. So check that out. So if you don't want that lower leg armored and something different, now maybe you won't have this belt, or you could if you have a guy, you know, He-Man like I did, and you want to modify it. But otherwise, you could just pop some He-Man legs on or whatever you want, and just have the upper armored and not all the lower stuff. Pretty cool. And I can reverse the role and just put the lower half and this guard on the other He-Man. So have these the regular, you know, the harness and the bare arms and the legs like that. And then the other thing, too, is the arms. So bringing back my split-in-half 2000X He-Man, Origin style. So the biggest thing is just the skin tones look like they match. They're pretty close. The bracers are silver, right? So we have two regular arms on this side, but it's just for somebody who doesn't want this. Maybe you want all the armor, or you don't, or whatever. But in this case, I'm going to leave everything on and take off this armored arm there if you didn't like that. We can just change out this side with this arm. And it looks like that. Check it out, we got dual wielding swords here, pretty cool. Yeah, matches all right, silver bracers. You can put whatever arms you want on, break the waist apart, the heads, so you can mix and match so much stuff, do a whole video. But yeah, I just thought I'd mix those things up and see what he looks like. And before we wrap the video up, what would the video be without putting our new He-Man on a Battle Cat or a couple Battle Cats? So here's Snake Armored He-Man on the first release, or the Battle Warriors 2-pack Battle Cat with the scratches. Check that out. And real quick, here's our Origins Snake Armored He-Man on our 2000X Battle Cat. Still got one. I showed in a couple videos. I put my Origins He-Man figures on it now. Looks really cool. And I dragged a little Classics goodness in here. We got our Classics Battle Cat with our Origins Snake Armored He-Man on that, which is, yeah, pretty cool. Because it kind of reminds me back to that 2000X show, He-Man on the Battle Line or Battle Cat later, how big the cat was. That looks perfect. And they look cool together. Maybe if you switch some heads out and different things we did, you can, yeah, mix it up. Here's a quick shot with these three figures together from Wave 11. I think this is a fantastic wave. I'm just so excited to have Cobra Khan. He's probably my favorite. Goes back to, yeah, the nostalgia of my childhood. Would have been cool if he had that water blast effect, but yeah, the acid, you know, effect works. And how often would you use it? I don't know. But he's my favorite, definitely, just for those reasons. Just Snake Armored He-Man, there's so much you can do with him. Really cool with all your other Origins He-Man figures or Revelation, New Eternia. I'm really happy to have him in the line, I gotta say. And Rattlor is just awesome. Again, even without the action feature, it's cool. And if you have this armored from the 2000X figures, like I showed you, can put it on, it looks great. The legs look a little better. The rattle effect does work. I mean, what a great wave. And of course, I know Boltman. Something tells me I won't miss him. It's just not for me. I can already tell. So I'm happy with these three. We have Wave 12 coming out before you know it. I know Tongue Lashers and that. And rumors with Extendor and who knows what else. But a lot of Snake Men coming. This is just such an awesome wave. I couldn't be happier to have him. So I appreciate you guys watching. And until next time, take care.